channel MuleSoft Unleash. I hope you enjoyed my last video. Today we are going to deep dive into other major topic, dates and times, which is one of the biggest reasons integrations fail, not because they're complex, but because they're misunderstood. In day 10 of our DataWeave series, we're finally tackling dates, date time and time zones the right way. You'll learn the difference between date, local date time and date time, how to parse date strings safely, format them correctly, and shift time across time zones without breaking your logic. We'll work with both JSON and XML payloads, handle real-world scenarios like SLA calculations, and see how the same timestamp behaves in different regions. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to use each date type, how to avoid common pitfalls, and how to write clean, production-ready date logic in DataWeave 2.0. To begin with, let's understand the difference between date. Local date time and date time is critical in DataWeave. A date represents only the calendar day, no time, no time zone. It's perfect for things like order dates or birthdays. Local date time adds time to the date, but it still has no time zone. This means it represents a local clock value and should never be used directly for integrations. Date time is the most powerful type. It includes date, time, and time zone. This is the format you should always use when working with APIs, SLAs, and cross-region systems. Think of it as a progression. Date adds time to become local date time, and adding a time zone converts it into date time. Once you understand this hierarchy, date handling in DataWeave becomes predictable and error-free. Let's break down this DataWeave script step by step. We start by capturing the current runtime using the now function, which gives us a time zone aware date time object. Next, we format this date time into a readable string. And remember, formatting should always happen at output, not before we then convert the same date time into different time zones using the shift operator, making our integrations time zone safe. From there, we extract individual date parts like year, month, day, hour, and minute, something you'll frequently need for reporting and routing logic. Moving ahead, we pass incoming date strings from the payload into proper date and date time types. Once parsed, date comparisons become extremely clean. Past, future, or same day checks are simple Boolean expressions. We also perform date arithmetic using durations, such as subtracting 2 hours or calculating elapsed time between events. You'll notice how local date time behaves differently. It has no time zone until one is applied explicitly. We also compute the start and end of the day, which is a very common requirement in analytics and batching use cases. Finally, we validate date formats using the try function and implement a real-world SLA breach check using elapsed hours. This is the power of DataWeave dates, strongly typed, readable, and production ready. Next, let's look at a simple but very real-world DataWeave transformation. Here, we're converting a JSON payload into XML while safely handling dates. First, we take the incoming order date from the payload and immediately pass it into a datetime object. This step is important because it ensures our date is strongly typed and time zone aware. Next, in the output section, we build an XML structure called order. DataWeave automatically converts this object into XML elements for us. From the same datetime value, we format the date and the time separately. The order date is formatted as year, month, and day, while the order time is formatted as hours, minutes, and seconds. Notice that formatting happens only at output. This keeps our transformation clean, predictable, and easy to maintain. Finally, we pass through other business fields like order ID and shipment ID. This pattern is extremely common in integrations, especially when downstream systems expect dates and times as separate fields. Next, we're working with a collection of employees and converting timestamps across multiple time zones. We start by selecting all employee elements from the XML payload. The star operator allows us to extract repeating nodes and treat them as an array. Next, we use the map function to iterate over each employee record. Inside the map, we access the employee ID and the created timestamp. The key part here is time zone conversion. Using the shift operator, we convert the same date time value into UTC and Eastern time. Notice that we're not changing the actual moment in time, only how it's represented in different regions. This pattern is extremely common in reporting, auditing, and global integrations, where the same event must be visible in multiple time zones. Thank you for watching. In the next lesson, we'll continue building on this and transform even more complex structures. If you're enjoying the series, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and check the playlist for previous days.